Hello, hello, hello. I'm just going to give it a few moments and to see if anyone's going to join me live, which will be wonderful. So it's just turned 1 p.m. in the UK and I'm really, really excited to be here. I'm Kinezioni. So I'm going to make a start by introducing myself. My name is Kalani and I'm a shamanic priestess and energy master, teacher and healer, and I'm also a soul coach. So I've been a therapist for nearly 17 years now, and it's been a very, very exciting journey. And so today I'm going to be talking about healing past life wounds and excuse me, and unlocking the power of the violet flame. So nearly 17 years ago, I first started out my spiritual pathway by training in Reiki and Seikим healing. And when I had my Reiki initiation, I was also initiated into I had the violet flame attunement. Now, back then when I did my training, I had the initiation, which was really, really beautiful. And I also had my Reiki manual. But back then it was very limited on the information that I had about the violet flame and how I could use it in my life. So me being me, I love studying and I love researching, and so I kind of went on a bit of a journey to find out how the violet flame could not only help myself but could help my clients as well. And so nearly 17 years later, I've now got a whole wealth of information and research and studies and experience of working with my clients and working with the violet flame in many different ways. So working with past lives has been something that's really it's fascinated me, because I've had a lot of experiences in my life which I couldn't explain, and working with the violet flame has really helped me to understand some of the experiences in my life, some of my soul contracts, and it's also helped me to, when I'm working with my clients, when things come up time and time in again for them, why they are going through it, and then I can dive deeper into their soul healing to work with them and work with these past life issues, and so that I can help them to prevent them happening again in the future. So if I tell you, welcome, I can see a couple of people have popped on. I cannot see the messages at the moment. So if you're messaging me and I don't reply, I'm not being rude, sorry. But I will reply to every single message after I finish this live. So please fire away with any questions that you want. And I will answer them the best I can. If you want to private message me, that is absolutely okay. I would love to have a chat with you. If there's anything that comes up in this session that you want to talk about, I'm here for you. Also, if you're watching on the replay, if you could pop in the comments #replay, and then I know that you've been here and you've been watching, so that so yes, if anyone wants to reach out to me, you are more than welcome. Okay. So being here on Kinesioni is amazing. So, and I'm so proud to be part of such an amazing project and team of incredible men and women, light workers who are, we want to connect to as many people as possible. So if you can share the love and invite as many people as you can to Kinesioni, so that they can really get the benefits of all of our expertise. Okay, so now I'm going to dive in to the violet flame. So I'm going to set the scene. Can you imagine having the most powerful spiritual tool known to humanity that works completely beyond space and time, and that is able to heal your past life wounds and so much more? Now, it's the violet flame is such an incredible spiritual tool, and it's something that I use on an everyday basis, not only for myself but for my clients as well. So it has the power to transmute trauma. So when we go through any kind of trauma, we get stuck with this really heavy energy, and that really heavy energy gets stuck in our physical, mental, emotional and spiritual bodies. Now, if we don't transmute that energy, if we don't move that energy out of our spiritual bodies, out of our energy bodies, then we carry on suffering. So the violet flame has the power to transmute that really heavy energy and move that trauma into the light. And it raises its vibration, and it also releases it from your energy field. So you can let it go, and you can move forward in your life. Okay. So the next powerful thing about the violet flame is it clears your karma. So it's going to dissolve any unresolved karmic debts. If with karmic debts, it's not about punishment and reward. Karmic, when you're dealing with karma has the power to give us the most incredible lessons and gifts in our life if we choose to see them as gifts. So when we work with the violet flame and we're transmuting that trauma, we're transmuting and dissolving those karmic debts, so that we can, and when we do that, it prevents us from manifesting those difficulties in our life time and time again. Because if we have spiritual lessons in life, and if we don't learn these lessons, then they come back to us time and time again like a boomerang. It's like boom, like so I mean, I know this from personal experience. I mean, I've been doing this work for 17 years. I mean, I'm 51 years old now, but it took me a very, very long time, and jumping from one frying pan into another fire, into another fire, into another fire, before I actually was like, oh my God, this pattern is repeating. So that was a massive indication to me that there was some karmic debt there. There was some unresolved issues in my life that I wasn't learning at that time. It's been a massive learning curve, believe me. So when we clear that karma, we clear that energy from our mental, physical, emotional and spiritual bodies. When we can clear that, we clear the path for our future. And when the thing that the violet flame can also do, it also works on a deeper soul level. So the violet flame can help you to heal emotional and spiritual scars that might have been lingering across many lifetimes. So the things that have happened in our past lives will affect us in our life. And I know that sounds all a little bit woo-woo, but it is a thing. Seriously. So when we connect to that violet flame, we can connect and heal our soul. And that is probably one of the most important things about our healing journey, because when we need to get to the root of any issues or problems that we're having in our life. So the violet flame, a little bit about how it works. So you're probably wondering, why is it the violet flame? Why not a pink flame? Why not an orange flame or anything else like that? So the reason why it's the color violet is because violet is the highest frequency on the visible light spectrum. Okay, and so that high frequency, it's a frequency of love and compassion and forgiveness as well. And the color violet, with that frequency, it's also deeply connected to the crown chakra and also the soul star chakra. And so these two chakras, they are linked to enlightenment. It's linked to your spiritual wisdom, and it's linked to your higher consciousness. So, and as I said, the color violet is also linked with forgiveness and compassion. Now, those two are the core aspects of healing, not only for ourselves. I think that's the most important thing, that when we can have compassion for ourselves, when we can forgive ourselves, that is a really beautiful aspect of our healing. And I think that it's very important to note that we need to work on our own healing first before we work on other people. And that is when I'm teaching Reiki and Seikим healing, and I've now developed my own system, which is called the Shamanic Soul Star Healing System. And so, and in that system, I combine all of the aspects of healing. So it's about healing yourself first and foremost. That is the most important thing. And then it's giving you the healing and spiritual tools so that you can use them on an everyday basis. Because a lot of people, they will learn a healing modality such as Reiki. They might go on a day course, and they will be attuned. They'll have the initiation and the attunement, but they don't follow it up. I know so many people that have done their Reiki training and they're not using it on an everyday basis. Now, I want to change that. Absolutely love to see a light worker and healer in every single home, so that you have access to that beautiful healing that we need every day. I mean, when we go out into, say you're going into town, you might go into a shop and it's packed. Okay, you can be bombarded with all of these energies, and I mean, I'm a very, very sensitive empath, so I don't really like crowds and things like that anymore. It's because like there are so many energies, and I feel that. I mean, I have to protect myself constantly, so I use the violet flame on a constant daily basis to cleanse myself. If I do have to go out, then I have to, when I get home, I do a cleansing thing with the violet flame. But I also use the violet flame for protection as well. Well, it's part of my my spiritual toolkit for protection. So it's the violet flame. It's got so many uses, and I mean, when I felt, like I said, when I first started when I was first taught this, all I had was like a page in my Reiki manual about the violet flame. Now I've been developing my system, and I've almost written a book just on the violet flame. So, and I can't wait to share this with everyone. So let's go back to the violet flame and healing past wounds. So what is a past life wound? Okay, so the soul is eternal, and as we journey through many multiple lifetimes, we accumulate experiences that leave energetic imprints on our energy bodies and our soul. So this can include trauma, any kind of trauma, unresolved relationships, karmic debts, and deep emotional scars. If I tell you a little bit about my own example, my own experience with past life wounds. When I was younger, I constantly used to get tonsillitis. My throat chakra, well, I didn't know about chakras back then, but my throat chakra was completely blocked back then, and I didn't have a voice. I couldn't speak my authentic self. I used to get tonsillitis constantly. And I also had a underneath my chin, which is what's called a thyroglossal cyst. Now, this was the physical part. So every time I got tonsillitis, the thyroglossal cyst would swell up, and my whole throat would swell up, and I stopped breathing at several points, and it was it was really traumatic, and yeah, it nearly cost me my life at several points. So it wasn't until the age of, I think I was 21, that they removed the cyst, and they removed my tonsils as well. So the first thing was like the throat chakra, that like when I was younger, like having not being silenced, not being able to talk my authentic truth. Then there was the physical with the throat problems as well. Then as I entered adulthood and I was having relationships, I went through a lot of domestic violent relationships, and again, the problem was with my throat and my voice, and I was silenced. When some of those relationships ended up being quite violent, they always went for my throat, and which was obviously quite scary. And when I started my Reiki, my healing journey, I remember going, it was at the very beginning of my journey, I remember going, I didn't do my shamanic work back then, but I was deep into my meditation and stuff, and I went on a meditation, and I actually saw myself I saw myself, it was definitely a past life. It was many, I'm not very good at history, but I was dressed up in this, it was like a French town, and I was dressed up in this long kind of dress, like with kind of like a mop hat, and it was like an apron, and there was this well, and in the middle of the town, and I actually, it actually scared me at the time, but I actually saw myself being strangled by this woman who I think that was my sister. And so when I came out of the meditation, and it was kind of, and it was really real, and I was like, wow. And so I had to start kind of doing the healing myself, and doing a bit of investigation work of why I saw that, because I'd never experienced anything like that before. And so, and then it kind of like, as the years have gone by, and obviously now I do shamanic healing, and I work with soul retrievals, and that includes working with past lives as well. And now it's kind of like I've put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and now it makes sense why I went through all of those problems, and it was all connected to the throat. Now, and the amazing thing about healing is that every day is an experience, every day is a chance to learn something new. And even just a couple of days ago, I was having some healing with my Reiki master, and he's very visual, like, and he saw when he was doing the healing on me, he saw me with these like rings around my neck, and he was like, he was like, you know, like the African tribes, and the women have these rings. And I was like, wow. I was like, I've got a really strong memory from when I was younger that I had these Encyclopedia Britannica. I've always been a geek, and there's only one page out of the whole of this set of books that I remember, and that was, I remember I was about 8 years old, and I remember reading about this African tribe and about these women that wore these rings around their neck, and I was fascinated by it. Now I can't remember what the name of this tribe is, but the rings around the neck, these rings around the neck were a symbol of like their wealth. It was a symbol, but it was also connected to the relationships that the African women had. And if for any reason that they were unfaithful, then these rings on their neck would be removed. Now, this was fatal because the rings were like gradually added to the neck, and then the neck got higher, and then the head got higher. But in the end, like it was the rings that were supporting the skull, and the muscles kind of stopped working. So if they removed the, I know sounds quite gory, but if they removed the rings, then the head would collapse and the throat would close up, and and it had dire consequences, really. So again, it was like, it was another piece in my healing puzzle. It's like, wow, so I probably definitely had that past life in this French provincial town, but also there was an African connection, and again it was all connected to my throat. So it's so I'm constantly having to heal my throat even now. I mean, I've done so much healing, but it's a daily thing. But I also had a client of mine, and I did a reading for her, and I saw her as an Egyptian kind of prince, and I saw her like she was having like breathing problems, and then she was actually having an initiation. And in Egypt, like you've got the tombs in Egypt. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know. The tombs in Egypt, they weren't just for holding the mummified remains. The tombs were also used for initiation. Now, I'm trained in Sokim, which is an Egyptian form of healing, and when back in those days, what they used to do is they used to starve themselves. They used to fast for many days, just like Dr. Yusui did on Mount Karama. I think it was 21 days. So he did that fasting, and then because like going back to Dr. Yusui, when he was at the top of the mountain, he fasted for 21 days. Because he was at the top of Mount Karama, the oxygen levels were lowered. So it reduced his oxygen intake into the brain. Okay, so that caused his pineal gland to produce DMT, and then he received the symbols. The exact same thing used to happen in Egypt in the tombs. They would fast for a certain amount of time, and then they would be put into the tombs, and the slabs would be put on top of it. Now, in the tombs, there's holes. Okay. Now, if these tombs were just for mummified remains, why would they have holes? It doesn't make sense. But the reason being is the holes were there so that oxygen could go through, and so whoever was having the magical initiation that was in this tomb, their oxygen would be reduced. And again, scientifically, the pineal gland, with that reduced oxygen to the brain, the pineal gland would produce the DMT, and they would have a psychedelic experience, and then they would receive downloads, symbols, information, and it was like their initiation into magic. Now, but as you can imagine, sometimes that went wrong. So in the case of my client, she in her past life, this initiation went wrong, and unfortunately she passed away. Now, when I spoke to her afterwards, after doing the reading, like she was a bit shocked. She was like, she kept on having dreams that her father had killed her, and it really affected her, and it was a deep past, and it was a deep wound, but she couldn't understand it because it wasn't relevant to today, to her present life. But it gave her a lot of anxiety. But when I explained to her, I said, you wasn't in, this was a past life, first of all, and two, you wasn't killed by your father. This was just a tragic accident. And when she realized this, it gave her, it really helped her. So I then I did a soul retrieval for her and worked with the violet flame, and was able to help her heal from this and move on, which was absolutely, it was just incredible. And it really helped her. It kind of prevented her from her anxiety. It was causing a lot of her depression. She was suffering a lot of abandonment wounds, and things like that. So it helped her to go forward. So how do past life wounds manifest in your life? Like I said, with my client, I mean, she was having anxiety, she had fears, she was having physical problems, like she was having breathing problems all the time. With myself, I was having all of those throat problems, and that was physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual as well. And so when you have fears, any fears and phobias, if it's from a past life wound, then there will be absolutely no logical cause for it whatsoever. For instance, say if you had a fear of drowning, but you'd never had any kind of water-related accident in your life, then that's probably due to a past life wound. If you have, the next one is if you have any reoccurring relationship problems. Now, I am the classic example of that. From the age of 16, nearly, well, actually 99% of my relationships were absolutely awful. And like I said, I jumped from one frying pan into another frying pan into another one, and it was like toxic, violent relationships, one after the other. And I, back then, I was like in victim mode. Oh, why is this happening to me? Do you know what I mean? But now it's like 100%, I have to take 100% responsibility. And now I know exactly why it kept on happening time and time again. So I had to do that deep soul healing. I had to work with the violet flame. I had to have the soul retrievals, to do the soul extractions, and it's that real deep soul work to prevent it from happening again. So I've been at total peace now for 10 years now, so which is wonderful. And well, from partnerships anyway, from those kind of relationships, other things can pop up, because that's the thing. It's not these relationships. If it's a past life thing, it can not only happen in romantic relationships, it can happen in business relationships, with friendships, with family as well. It could be unresolved soul contracts from the past as well. The next past life wound that can manifest is unexplained emotional reactions. So you might meet someone and you might have this real big fear of them, or you might I don't know, it could be any kind of reaction. That's going to be linked to a past life. If you're having unexplained anxiety, if you're having unexplained depression, if you're having unexplained panic attacks, and you're like, I don't understand why this is happening to me. There is absolutely no reason for me to feel depressed or anxious or to have a panic attack, yet it's happening. I can guarantee you that's a past life wound that is manifesting in the present. So the next wound that can manifest is physical ailments or chronic pain. So if you're suffering from physical ailments or chronic pain and it is not responding to any kind of treatment that you're having, either from your GP or from a healing treatment from complementary therapies, if you're not responding to that, then that's a big indication that you've got a blockage there, and it's coming from a past life trauma or something that you've been through in that past life that you haven't healed from. So we all try and look at healing in the present day, and like looking at how we're presenting ourselves physically, emotionally and mentally and spiritually in the present time. We don't really think about healing those past life wounds, and if we can heal those past life wounds, then that can, if we can transmute the past, and then we can transcend all of those problems, and then we can heal the present, and we can heal in the future. Like I said, the violet flame and soul healing, it has no we can travel through time and space, and also as we heal ourselves, we can heal our past and we can heal our future, and as we heal our past, we heal ourselves in the present, and we heal our future. So the next wound is emotional life patterns that you're experiencing in your life. So if you keep on experiencing things like abandonment, betrayal or loss, now I've experienced all three of those all throughout my life. So again, that is another past life issue that I've had to heal myself. And if it keeps, it's that repetitive pattern. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and it's kind of like you have to like ask yourself those questions, like, why is this happening? Not in a victim kind of way, but in a curious karmic learning way. I mean, we have to ask ourselves, why does this keep on happening to me? What lessons can I learn from this? How can I heal from this? How can I grow from this? How can I develop my life? And also, it's kind of learning these, it's taking the gifts from this, and it's using it. We can look at our past lives, and when we start to heal them, and then we look at the lessons from it, that's how we grow. That's how we move forward in life. That's how we can find our soul purpose as well, because these lessons, it can this karma, it can either block us. The past life wounds, they can either block us in our soul path, or the most beautiful thing is those past life wounds, they can guide us. They can actually guide us to our soul path and help us to be more aligned. Now, that's what's happened with me. It took me a very, very long time. But all of those things that happened to me, it's like for a long time it blocked me. But then when I realised, right, when I started to be more aligned, and that's what the violet flame and the healing can do. It aligns you with your soul path. It aligns you with your heart and soul, and helps you to use those wounds as gifts, so that you can go forward in your life. So the last one of the last, there's probably many more wounds that can, past life wounds that can manifest, but the other one is reoccurring nightmares and dreams. So again, it can be a positive or a negative. I mean, if you're having I used to have reoccurring nightmares when I was a child, but the weirdest thing is I never remembered them, but I do know that it was the same dream, the same nightmare that I was having. So I know now, I know that must have been a past life thing. Or we can have reoccurring dreams. Before it was a few months before I started my shamanic training, I kept on having a reoccurring dream that I was this young girl, and I was running through the forest, and then I was beckoning all of this light to follow me, and then I was I couldn't talk, which again, I think now I realise that silence in that throat thing. So I couldn't talk, but I could only communicate through writing. This sounds a bit weird, but I could only communicate through. I had a little knife, and I used to get the leaves, and I used to write my messages out of leaves, and then I used to present them to the light. And I kept on having that dream time and time again. And then when I started doing my shamanic training, that all kind of like made sense. That I was, again, it was another past life that I had that I was healing, but also that I was, the messages, I could bring those messages through connecting to nature, to Mother Earth, to Father Sky. So that was really beautiful. So what are the other uses for the violet flame? So there's many other uses that I use in all of my shamanic soul star healing system, but also in my treatments as well. So the violet flame can be used for spiritual protection, ancestral healing, soul retrievals, soul contracts, healing the planet, space clearing, healing your home, cutting cords. I also work with the Akashic records, and also collective healing as well. So there's many ways that we can use the violet flame in our lives, and I really want to teach as many people, as many wounded healers, because I love working with people that have been through that trauma, that have experienced those past life wounds, and I call it it's the wounded healer. So it's working with Chiron, and so it's using, as I've mentioned before, it's using the gifts of those wounds that you've been through, and using it so you can not only heal yourself, you can start to heal other people. And I'm so passionate about this, and that's why I've worked 17 years to develop my shamanic soul star healing system, and it's got many levels. The first level is all about healing yourself, and giving you the spiritual tools and the healing tools so that you can raise your vibration and raise your frequency on a daily basis, because that is really important, because we can't just do a healing course and then not do it. I mean, I'm not having that anymore. I want to. So if you are interested in any of my treatments, then please do DM me, and let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about your healing journey and your spiritual journey, so that you can, I want you to, because everyone's starting to awaken now, but I want you to align and activate your your soul star, which your soul star is like the seat of your soul. It's your life. It's your life purpose. It's being in alignment. It's tapping into your spiritual wisdom. I want to help you to do that. And so that you can live your life with more passion, purpose, and also prosperity and abundance. Do you know what I mean? Because abundance, like, that is your birthright. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to end this session, and I'm going to give you a violet flame blessing. Okay, so get yourself in a nice comfortable position. I'm just gonna get my candle. Won't be a moment. There you go. Get yourselves nice and comfortable. Okay, I'm just gonna burn some Palo Santo, which is the most powerful, beautiful, cleansing. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So get yourself into a nice, comfortable position, either laying down or sat on your chair with your back straight. Don't cross your legs, keep your feet connected to the ground beneath you, or the bed, or the couch. Okay, I'd like you to put your hands over your heart. Gently close your eyes and take a beautiful deep breath in through your nose. Breathing in that beautiful healing oxygen, holding that breath, and breathe out slowly through your mouth. Taking another beautiful deep breath in. And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine a beautiful violet flame just above your head. And as you breathe out, now breathing in, through your chest rising, your belly rising. And feel that beautiful violet flame energy flowing down into your crown chakra, down into your third eye, down into your throat, and down into your heart space. Now, with each breath that you take, I want you to visualize this beautiful violet light flowing into your body with warmth, purity, and loving energy. And with each breath, feel that violet light expanding in your heart space. Feel it cleansing, clearing, unlocking, unblocking, expanding that light in your heart. Now, with every breath, I want you to visualize this beautiful violet light expanding into every single cell of your body. Feel it expanding, getting lighter and lighter, brighter and brighter. Feel it expanding outside of your body until you are surrounded with a beautiful, beautiful, warming, loving cocoon of violet light. Feel this cocoon of violet light expanding around your body, helping you to feel safe, connected and protected. Feel this violet flame expanding outside of your body, expanding out into your room. Feel it cleansing, clearing, unlocking, unblocking any negative energies. Feel it purifying the light around you. Feel it purifying the space around you. Feel that light expanding, that violet light expanding out into your home, out into your town, into your city, out into the world, out into space, where the violet flame dances beyond the sun, beyond the moon. The violet flame is dancing with the planets, dancing out into the universe. For that beautiful connection. Now I call upon the violet flame to surround you with its purifying light, protecting you from all negative energy, thoughts, entities or spiritual intrusions. May the violet flame transmute all that is not aligned with your highest good. Take a moment to feel that beautiful violet light and its energy. I call upon the violet flame to heal, transmute and uplift the energy of the earth and all beings on it. May the violet flame purify the collective consciousness and bring peace, harmony, unity and love throughout the world. So mote it be. Oh, I feel beautiful. Oh, I've got the spiritual chills. I just want to thank you all for joining me today and sharing this space with me. Please do share the Kinesioni page with anyone who you feel will benefit from it. If you have any questions or want to chat about your healing journey or your spiritual pathway, then just please do pop me a DM. And so now I'm going to send love, light and blessings to you all. Thank you.